What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm here to break down the NFL tight ends for Week 6 Sunday main slate. The two big tight ends in the league are not playing, so it's kind of a weird week at tight end. Some interesting value plays that are interesting to say the least. We'll get into all that. Before we do, if you're new to this channel, make sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, turn on the notification bell. All stuff really helps me grow. Had a lot of growth throughout NFL, NASCAR, coming to an end now, NBA season's over, but had a lot of growth throughout all that stuff, and it's free. It just takes one second of your time to hit that like and subscribe, so be sure to do all that stuff. If you want to get more of my content, you can always subscribe to my Patreon for only $10 a month. You're going to get articles for every single position every single week, along with rankings, cash and GPP rankings, top stack rankings, all my injury notes and news, and you're going to get stuff for showdown slates as well. So be sure to check out all that over there. I'll put the link in the description below, but I think that's all I really got to say. Let's get into the video, into the players. Mike Gesicki's first player or tight end we're going to talk about, going up against the trash can New York Jets. Yeah, that team's bad. I mean, they're just really bad. When we look at the overall offense versus defense matchup, it's going to be positive for Gesicki. The line is a 47. I mean, it's not like a really going to be a high-scoring game or anything, but that's because it's the Jets. Like, they don't score points. They're just bad. His offense are favored in this game. The Jets have allowed the 14th most points to tight ends so far this year. When we go look at volume, Gesicki's averaging 5.6 targets per game. We've seen him have 2 games where he only had 3, but we've also seen him have an 11-target game. We saw him get 6 last week. I think this is just a really good matchup for Mike Gesicki. They can't guard anybody, especially the receivers, and Mike Gesicki's really like a slot wide receiver. He's really not a tight end. He's just kind of a big slot receiver, so they should kind of have some problems covering him, honestly. I think he's a good play. He's second most expensive tight end, so that's a little worrisome, I believe. He might be third. Hold on, let me go look. Yeah, second most expensive tight end. That's a little bit like, He's a tournament-only play for me. I don't want to get to him in cash because the volume's not secure for that price tag, but I do think he's a fine option. Mark Andrews is the next tight end we're going to talk about, going up against Philadelphia Eagles. He has a nice positive offense versus defensive matchup. The line on this game is 47.5, and they are favored in this game. We know that Mark Andrews and Marquise Brown are getting the majority of the target share in this offense. It's pretty much just those two, and you get an occasional Miles Boykin or Willie Snead sighting, but for the most part, it's Mark Andrews and Marquise Brown. Philly's allowed the 5th most points tight end so far this year. Their linebacking core is horrible, and they cannot cover anybody. So Mark Andrews should look for a pretty solid game. He is the most expensive tight end, but I don't really care. Averaging 5.8 targets per game. We've seen him have 6, we've seen him have 8, we've seen him have 9, but we've also seen these 3-target games. If that trend continues, this will be a 3-target game, but I don't think against Philly he's only going to have 3 targets. I think he should be in for a really big game here. Definitely someone I love to get to in tournaments. I'll be playing a good bit of Mark Andrews this week in tournaments, but if you can get to him in cash, I think it's fine, but I think usually for tight ends in cash, for the most part, I like to just play cheaper guys. That's just my strategy, but some people like to pay up for tight ends and pay down other spots. But in my opinion, I wouldn't really go to Mark Andrews in cash because I think there's 2 or 3 other guys that I'd rather get into. One of those being Eric Ebron. He's got a positive offensive-defensive matchup against the Cleveland Browns, who have kind of struggled against tight ends this year too, allowing the 8th most points to tight ends. This game has 51 total, one of the higher total games on the slate, and they are favored in this game. We see Eric Ebron, his usage in the offense has gone up since week 1. Averaging 5 targets per game, but I mean, if you just take out that week 1 where he only saw 2, he's been averaging closer to like 6. So 5, 7, and 6 targets for him. He's going to get usage in the red zone, a big red zone target for Ben Roethlisberger. I think Eric Ebron's fine. He's only like $4,100 on Draftkings after having a bad week last week against Philly, when a lot of people were on him. I think it looks like a good bounce back spot for him. I mean, yeah, Philly's been bad against tight ends, and he sucked, but so is Cleveland. I mean, Eric Ebron's a solid tight end, so I don't hate going there at all. I think he's good in cash. I like playing him in cash. He's probably my favorite cash tight end play right now. I might move to Trey Burton depending on how things open up on the rest of the week, how much I want to pay up. But Eric Ebron definitely in play for cash. Trey Burton's only $3,100 on Draftkings. They're going up against Cincinnati Bengals, who just suck everywhere. They have allowed 16th most points to tight ends. I mean, that's just middle of the pack. Not like it's literally middle of the pack. It's not good, it's not bad, it's just an average matchup. That's fine. They're favored in this game, 46.5 game total. And in the 2 games he's actually played, because he didn't play weeks 1, 2, and 3. I don't even know if he was on. I think he was on the roster, he just was hurt or something. He's seen 5 and 6 targets. He's the number 1 tight end in that offense. They really like him. He's overtaken Mo Alley-Cox and Jack Doyle in the passing game. So I think Trey Burton ends up being a really solid play at only $3,100. Not a lot of people are going to play him. Definitely like him for tournaments. If you want to go there for cash, I think it's fine too. I don't think you need to go there for cash. I think there's definitely other spots you can get to at cash, like I just talked about Eric Ebron. But I think he's definitely someone that you have to at least look at. Johnny Smith's up next. They play the Houston Texans this week. Houston Texans are down Bernard Drake McKinney. So he's going to go up against the worst cover linebacker in the league right now, Zach Cunningham. Is Jonnu Smith's going up against, like, literally dead last, according to PFF. A great overall positive matchup for him. The line on this game is 52.5. They are favored. Now, I know I just said one of the worst coverage linebackers in the league, Zach Cunningham, but looking at the DVP, they're only allowed the 19th most points to tight ends, but that's fine. I don't really care. Jonnu has like a massive role in this offense right now, especially if Corey Davis and Adam Humphries miss again. If they don't play again this week, he's the number 2 receiver on his team. He's just a number 2 receiver behind A.J. Brown. He's averaging 6.75 targets per game. We saw him see 7 and 8 in the last 2 weeks, last 2 games. I think Jonnu Smith's a very, very good play. Love him in tournaments. Probably not going to get there for cash. He's a little bit expensive, but in tournaments, absolutely love it. I think he's one of my favorite tight end plays on the week in tournaments. TJ Hawkinson up next with the just slightly better overall offense versus defense positive matchup against the Jacksonville Jaguars, who cannot cover anybody. And if Myles Jack misses again, that's even better, even though he's bad, but that's even better if he's out again. This line is 54.5. They are favored. Jacksonville's allowed the 6th most points to tight ends on the year. I wish TJ Hawkinson got a little bit more involved in this offense, but when we've seen him be pretty decently involved, he's averaged 5 targets per game. We saw him get that 7-target game in week 3. He's looked good. He's going to get usage in the red zone for sure. A ton of usage in the red zone. Those are his high upside targets. I absolutely love him for tournaments. He is my favorite tight end for tournaments. That's why he's on the cover of this video. I think he's got a ton of upside. If you're making Stafford stacks, which I'll talk about in the top stack videos, I think Hawkinson's an elite guy to go to. So TJ Hawkinson, definitely someone I want to get to. Irv Smith Jr. is like my super low punt play, and I'm honestly probably only throwing in lineups with Kirk Cousins. This guy's $2,500 on Draftkings, and Atlanta's allowed the 2nd most points to tight ends on the year. They're horrible at guarding tight ends. It's a 54.5 total line. The matchup, they are favored in this game. Kirk Cousins really throws the ball to mainly 2 people, but occasionally Irv Smith can get in there, and he is going to get usage in the red zone. You got to play caution with Irv Smith. I mean, he saw 5 targets against Seattle last week, 4 in week 2, but Irv Smith can get 1 target for 0 yards. Like, if he gets a 0, I just want to say this because I know people are going to be pissed off if he gets 0 points and you play him. Like, that's a realistic opportunity there that Irv Smith gets 0 points, but he can literally just hit value. If he gets 1 target and gets a touchdown on that target, he's hitting value. Easy. $2,500. You do not need a lot from him. If he gets to catch 3 balls for 40 yards, he's going to hit value. Like, it's not hard for Irv Smith to hit value. I mean, that's like smashing value, 3 balls for 40 yards. He catches 2 balls for 20 yards. He's going to hit value. So Irv Smith, not really hard to hit value on this slate. I'm probably only going to play him in Kirk Cousins stacks. If you want to play him by himself, I think that's fine. I wouldn't go there in cash because I think it's too risky for him to put up 0. I'd rather just play Trey Burton for 600 more, who I don't think will hit 0, or even Eric Ebron, who won't definitely, like those two definitely won't. Irv Smith has that possibility, so only a tournament option. Then Haydenhurst is another tournament option going up against the Vikings. They are going to be playing from behind. If you're playing Matt Ryan stacks or you're playing Kirk Cousins stacks and want to bring it back with Haydenhurst, I think that's fine. Vikings have allowed the 18th most points to tight ends this year. Haydenhurst averaging 5.5 targets per game right now. He's pretty much number 3 receiver, and if Julio misses, that's going to give him a little bump as well. So we'll see what happens there. But tight ends really not that juicy this week. Just a few to go over there. If you want to get more of my rankings and stuff, always hit that Patreon below. I really think these are probably the only ones I'm going to play. I didn't talk about Noah Fant or Evan Ingram because their matchups are so brutal. I just don't want to even go there. But yeah, I think that's really all I got to say. I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend. Be sure to check out the receiver, running back, quarterback video, and top stack video. And if you're interested in NASCAR, check out those as well. Have a great weekend.